how do you get your team members to perform at their peak without begging them or pleading to get things done? The answer is simple. It's an accountability. Now, there's a couple parts to that, and I want to get to how you can create accountability with ease. We'll get to that soon. But the first piece is the mindset. And that it is important to understand that every person wants to do great at their job. They want to excel. They want to outperform and be really good at fulfilling them. That's part of their internal innate ability to just do great and perform at their best. So as a leader in your business, you also need to be the person that's going to help them express their greatness to the world by doing what they are great at doing and following through with that. And that's the accountability piece. So how do we do that to make sure that's effective? Well, the first and the foremost thing is to create and have an agreement, mutually agreed upon, what the task is, what actually has to happen, clear outlines in order to be successful, and then ultimately the deadline. But from the task in particular, it's important that they understand, and maybe it needs to be written, because you can't just walk by the hall and say, hey, I need you to do this by Friday. As a leader, you also need to know, what are their skill sets? Are they going to be good at this job? How to be successful? Do they have the time and energy to do it and to do it well? But there's one piece about accountability that's really important, because once you have established the accountability and the follow through, it creates a trust. And then from there, it makes it easier to make new agreements and to hold people accountable. And overall, this helps the ball move down the field quicker. And obviously, your team members are going to perform at their best without having to beg them or plead them to do them. So the other one last piece about that is a deadline. A deadline has to be really clear when it's going to need to be done by specifically, and hold them accountable to that deadline. You know, if part of your accountability piece is checking in and say, hey, this is due within a day or two, then that's another way of doing that. But you definitely need to hold them accountable for their deadline. We use a system called the Trello boards, which is fantastic because you can get all the details on there and it reminds you when your task is due. And that's a great way to hold it. And then you click it off when you're done. That's another piece about accountability. You can choose to reward people, attaboy, you know, maybe it's a special project and they get a gift card to go somewhere. But also make sure there is some sort of consequences if they're not completing their tasks either. Something to think about. So accountability, it's the number one thing to move your team members forward to produce the outcomes that you want them to do, so that you have more time to work on the business in a different way, which always allows growth and potential in your practice. All right, so if you like this, hit like. If you would love to join or subscribe to our YouTube channels, there's some great videos on there, lots of good information. The previous one we talked about delegation, and this is the follow-up of accountability. We'll see you on the next video.